Hi, or I am an alien interactions with Fernand Rock. Hi, podcast.
My invisible alien friend.
Hello.
Hey, Nando.
Hey, David. Good to see you too. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for to do this.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here and see you again.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think we were calculating 4 years since I've seen you, 3 or 4 years.
Yes, I watched you in that show, Die Hard.
Very dark.
Right? very Die Hard Christmas. That was so funny. It was really funny.
It's a fun show to do. We've been doing it now 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah. Over the past 8 years. We were, one year was dark because of the pandemic. But yeah.
And David, it was such an honor to have you as my first director in Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
I didn't know that. I mean, I'm honored. It was lovely having you at Freehold and taking rehearsal performance with me.
Yeah, which I recommend to anyone. It's incredible.
Yeah, your class was quite wonderful to work with. And,
oh yeah,
we picked a zany show, so that was fun.
Yeah, I met so great actors in there. Malia.
Malia is awesome.
Yeah,
Chris. She's
Chris.
down in LA now, doing really well.
Yes. And I play your character, the character that you played before.
No,
Captain?
I directed the show before. When we acted it, Richard Slacker, who's a local actor here in Seattle, he played your part.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I learned that you were one of the theater artists in Seattle that you are everywhere. If someone watch any shows in the last 20, 30 years, they probably saw you in doing something in the show, in the stage, or directing, or behind the technical part, because you also do design, right?
I do a little bit, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit for our listeners and who is watching our podcast about your trajectory in theater?
Sure. So I started doing theater here in Seattle when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with drama and performing and being an actor, and continued to do that. Then I went to the UW, University of Washington, to study drama and communications there, and then I just started doing theater, around Seattle, community theater, and then smaller fringe theaters, and then some of the mid-sized theaters. At the time, there was an Asian theater in town called Northwest Asian American Theater. And I started volunteering and doing shows there. And they had some spaces where they didn't have programming. And so I thought, well, there's a play I love. I'd love to direct and cast a bunch of my friends in it. And so we did. It was a play called The Curious Savage, which I had performed in high school and also in community theater after I graduated. And I thought, it'd be fun to direct a production of it. And so we did, and it went off pretty well. And that's sort of how React was started, React is my theater company. And so our primary focus is to do traditional plays, just cast non-traditionally, to give more opportunities to underserved artists, artists of color, women, people with disabilities, yada yada yada. And that's kind of what we've been doing for the last 30 plus years.
Yeah. Speaking about that, tell the truth. Are you a time traveler or something? Because when you open the React Theater, you start to do what we're doing now. It was very uncommon. This casting, this multicultural casting, and now it becomes, gratefully, it becomes kind of the norm. We're trying to fix it. What I'm trying to say is, you fix a system that were clearly broken, showing how, like casting incredible actors that they just didn't fall under the stereotype by the time of who could play these characters, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we certainly weren't the first multicultural theater around. In Seattle, there was a group, and I mean, there's theaters all across the country that were casting multiculturally or non-traditionally, or, you know, in their season they would have, you know, an African-American play, or they'd have an Asian play. And then there were certainly a lot of theaters that were doing colorblind casting, where they randomly would, you know, put different artists of different colors in different parts. What we started doing at React was what I call color-sensitive casting, where we weren't ignoring the color of someone's skin or their background or their, you know, their gender or their whatever. When we cast an Asian actor to play a part, we were not changing the play, but we were acknowledging the fact that character was now an Asian character, and whatever that meant in terms of how they dressed or how they behaved, or you know, the decor in their house, all of that then wasn't just ignored, it was purposely planned and thought through. So like if we did a play like You Can't Take It With You, which has a zany family called the Sycamores, if we made that Sycamore family primarily an Asian family, then, you know, when they're sitting at the dinner table, they're probably eating rice with chopsticks, as opposed to what would traditionally be done in a regular show where the whole cast was white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's great to, I guess, be one of the earlier theaters that really supported diversity and equity inclusion. I know those words are taboo now and under the current realm, but it's nice to see so many other theaters sort of taking up that gauntlet, and it becoming more normalized. Certainly, there's still a ways we have to go, but I think it's important that, you know, audiences can see that all of our stories are universal, and that we're all part of the human race, and that we all go through the same struggles. And it's important for audiences of color to see themselves represented on stage too.
Yes, well, I can agree more. Being a person of color here in America, at least, because in Brazil people thought I was white. they consider me white just because I'm more pale. And here is very. I learned in the United States how this division of colors and races is so intense in these days. This was a cultural shock to me. Yeah. And I know your parents are also immigrants,
yes.
Right?
Yes. From China.
They are from China. And so, and you were born in Utah.
That's right. I don't like to advertise that, but that's where my parents met, and they happened to be going to school there.
How was the transition from Utah to Seattle?
Well, they moved to Seattle really on in their marriage. I think I was a year old, maybe less.
Oh, okay.
Here. So I consider myself a Seattleite.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
born here, but I've grown up here for most of my life. Yeah.
So. Yeah. You grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
And how that, being from a family of immigrants living in Seattle, I know you were already said how it's important to be represented, and people see on stage representation. But personally, how this inspire you personally to make this move in 1993?
That's when I started React.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to school, I was, my sister and I were probably the only Asians that I can recall.
Kathy.
Yeah, my sister Kathy.
Yeah.
In like elementary school, I think every year after us, there would be another, there'd be a Korean family or there'd be another Asian family. But there were so few of us that like in every class there was maybe one Asian student, and then maybe 2 African American students, and that was it in terms of diversity in those schools. And it wasn't until high school where Seattle started desegregating the city, and so they would bus a bunch of students of color from one community to another, and vice versa. So a lot of people in the north went down to Garfield, a lot of people that were in the south area came up north where we lived. And so that diversified the student population a little bit more. But I mean, generally speaking, Seattle's a pretty Caucasian white city, with a lot of Scandinavian heritage. So once, like, I was in college and stuff like that, there were, again, continued to be a few more artists of color around, but by no means were we the global majority that we are and actually are in the world. And so doing shows with UW, I'd play Irishman and I'd get wigged and have different colored hair than my own, I remember they did a production of Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, and it was set in Asia, but I was the only actor in the ensemble that was actually Asian.
Oh.
Everyone else, did the yellow face, which was a little offensive, I guess, thinking back. But it was a different time back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when I started working in the community, I thought, we can make a difference. We can try to change this and do theater a different way, maybe.
Maybe more real, more close to what we see in the streets.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What we see in the real world. Like,
that's right. Yeah.
The diversity is out there to see.
Yeah. And, for the most part, it makes sense to me when I see a play. I just I love the storytelling aspect, but those stories have an impact based on who's telling them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I think it's important to make sure that all voices are part of that story.
Let's back a little bit. You mentioned about where you grow up and how the segregation happened in schools and zip codes, right? Were you a drama kid in high school? When do you start?
I was a drama kid in high school.
Yeah?
my sister, who's a year older, she got into theater when she was a freshman, and I followed suit the minute I went to that same high school, which is Nathan Hale. Yeah.
Wow, that's so brave. And then you decide to keep doing theater in college. You applied to University of Washington. What do you study in there?
At the UW, when I attended the UW, I studied theater drama. Although my emphasis changed from acting to more stage management in my curriculum, and I also was in the communications department studying advertising. So I was working towards a double degree.
Well,
crazy times.
All of this explain how you are so well known for your multifaceted ability to do anything in theater. Working in directing, in stage management, and acting, and all this flexibility that you have, to take all the workload of the theater on your shoulders.
Yeah, well, that's what you kind of have to learn when you're running a small theater, because sometimes you can't find a lighting designer, or you can't find a set designer, you can't find a stage manager, and so, I'm available, and since it's my company, I'm free. So I've really learned through street smarts a lot of these skills and a lot of the techniques that I now hopefully share with other people. Yeah.
And you've been working with the most important companies of the city, from the Seattle Opera and Seattle Shakespeare, and now you're part of the casting of ACT, now Union Arts?
Union Arts Center, right?
Union Arts Center.
Yeah, which, so Seattle Shakespeare Company and ACT, A Contemporary Theater, they sort of merged and are sharing resources under the banner Union Arts Center. And I have been one of the casting associates at ACT, helping their main casting director, Margaret Lane, with casting projects. And, knock on wood, I continue to be able to do that periodically when they need help. Yeah.
And at the same time, you keep the React work active.
Yeah.
What do you do here at React? What do you
React,
offer?
Through our 34 year history, I've primarily been the artistic director and director. I've probably directed 96% of our productions, and then performed in a few, designed in a lot of them as well, a lot of the sets, sometimes costumes. I don't actually do lights very often. I could have had to, but I can usually find a pretty good lighting designer. And sometimes stage managing. It just depends on whatever the project needs, or if we have a guest director, I would take another role. It's a lot of my time and energies have been with keeping my own company going and producing. I feel like our heyday was probably in the early 2000s. And through up until the pandemic, I think we kind of had seasons, and we'd perform regularly. When the pandemic hit, of course, we were dark for a couple of years, and we lost our space because the building that we had some storage and some meeting space in.
I remember that space.
Primavera was sold and torn down. It's now a big empty hole up by the South Center. And so we had to start looking for a new facility to sort of be in, with the help of some supporters. We managed to find the space which we rent and make available to the community. So a lot of other companies come and rehearse here and have meetings, classes, whatnot. It's market rate rent for us, but we managed to keep it going. We charge minimal amounts for people to use the space, basically to cover the cost of utilities. But it's important because space is limited and expensive, and some theater artists and some small organizations wouldn't be able to do what they do if they didn't have a place to rehearse or to meet or to audition or whatever.
David, are you able to articulate to us what make that passion so strong and keep you going? Doing theater. I'm asking as also a theater artist that dedicate my life to theater as well, and I lost everything in Brazil and have to still trying to get back to start over doing what we love to do. And I understand in my perspective where this come from, but can you tell us how that passion, that love, or how do you call this? That thing that independently of any government or pandemic situations that we face it, we keep trying the best that we can do to keep going. And
I don't know, maybe it's just my personality, but I never give up. I just keep persevering. If someone, if we have a huge setback or disappointment or loss or obstacle, it makes me, I want to fight even harder and push through and get through. I see others give up sometimes, and that's disappointing and sad. But I don't know. I guess maybe as a youth, people put me down because of the way I looked or who I was, or I don't know, and it just made me fight back and want to show them I was just as good, or if not better. So it's just kind of the way I've always been, I think. I remember clearly when I was at the UW, the program had just changed, and the leader of the professional actors training program was now going to take over some of the BA actor training, and so he was holding auditions to get into that class, and gosh, I think I went through 2 or 3 auditions with that professor, and I was not selected, and I was so disappointed because all the other students that I had gone to class with for 2 years had gotten into the class, and I didn't. But I didn't let that put me down. I just worked harder, and as far as I know, I'm one of just a handful of those students that are still doing theater or acting, or still in the industry. It's just perseverance and gumption, moxie.
Yeah. How do you feel about our industry at this moment? How do you perceive the future, and where to go from here in times of AI and other things, other traps on the corner? How do you feel?
The world is always changing.
Yes.
And theater always adapts.
That's true.
Theater's been around for millenniums, right?
Yeah.
And on one hand, there's some very exciting things happening.
Mm-hmm.
The technical wizardry that people can do on stage now is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But yet, it can also be done very simply, and the same stories can be told just as effectively as well. And that's the magic of theater. AI, oh gosh, I think it's going to affect film and TV and commercial acting a lot more than it does the stage. But we'll see. I don't know. It's hard to predict. I think there's still a lot of things that are unsure right now because we're barely out of the pandemic. Audiences haven't come back to the degree that they were before the pandemic, so a lot of theaters are struggling. A lot of the people who are in charge are unsure about what to program because they can't make a mistake. It's just too expensive. Costs are going through the roof everywhere because of the economy, and that makes it hard for the audiences to have extra money to come and enjoy shows, which is sad to me because I personally get so much out of watching theater, and I know there are many people in the world that have never experienced theater at all, and don't know the power and the magic and the soul replenishing.
What theater means to you in your life? Not as a profession, but as a person.
I mean, I love it. I mean, it's entertainment, sure, but just to be in the same room with other performers and having them make an impact on me. I mean, the shows I love are the ones that move me. They make me cry or make me laugh, or oftentimes both in the same show. Those are the ones that I enjoy, and the ones that entertain, right? Because theater should be entertaining. Sure, we can have shows that are thought-provoking or make us think about things, but ultimately, we go to know that to be entertained, and to know that we're not alone. To know that to share an experience with another group of people, watching the stories of people just like us, makes us know that we're part of something.
Can you conceive the world without theater?
It would be it would be like the world without art. It just difficult. It would be very difficult to go through a lifetime without art and theater.
We have a little taste of that during the pandemic, right?
We did, yeah.
And what do you think we learned?
Well, I think we learned, I can only speak for myself, I learned that I could survive. I learned that loneliness is a terrible thing. I learned that how important things were to me that I was taking for granted. Friends, family, art, theater, all things that I didn't have during the pandemic to the degree that I used to, right? I don't know, I feel like I would hope that most people who had a difficult time during the pandemic came out with these same lessons, but I don't know that that's true. Sad to say. Yeah. The world is a very different place, and people are quick to blame, quick to be selfish. And so it's all the more important why we need to be generous with each other, with ourselves.
And theater is a collective art.
Yeah.
More than all the other arts, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, because it's made collectively.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Alone.
Even a monologue, you don't do alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could write your own monologue and perform your own monologue, but you still need an audience.
Yes.
You still need maybe a director to help you see what you're doing. A theater is art, and it's an imitation of life. So it is life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To get into the end of the conversation, it's so amazing hear from you and from your experience. To finish in a light note, could you talk about the comedy that you're directing?
Oh, sure. So right now, React is presenting a play called Buyer and Seller. It's a quirky little comedy. I love the play myself personally. It's about an actor in LA who gets a job working for Barbra Streisand in the mall in her basement. So this is true. Barbra Streisand, has a lot of clothes and antiques and stuff, and so she came up with the idea of making little storefronts in her basement where she could put these costumes and props and stuff on display like it was a store. So there's like a mall underneath the compound that her mansion and her grounds are kept. And so the playwright who wrote this play, Byron Seller, he found out about that, was intrigued, and thought, oh, it'd be fun if they needed to hire someone to work down there, to keep the clothes clean and to man the stores, and so he wrote a play about just that. So it's a one-person show, and so one actor plays all the 8 or 9 different parts in the show, including Barbra Streisand and James Brolin, her husband, and so there's some real people and there's some obviously fictionalized, made-up people, and it's just a fun, entertaining show that makes us think about our lives and our relationships and what we surround ourselves with, and how we surround ourselves with, and stuff like that. So it's a fun little show. We opened it last February, and it's been playing here at React. We're probably we're probably closing at the beginning of June. But it's been a fun run. And, if you want to come see a fun show.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
It's so good to talk with you.
You as well.